There you are, standing in front of a vending machine, thinking about your next snack. You always get Snickers. That has been your choice for as long as you can remember. But your office mate was just talking to you about how good Heath bars are, and you're thinking about trying one. You usually find it easier to go with what you know, and making a change is risky. So what are you going to do? Why do you always choose Snickers? It's because it's easier to go with the flow. You learned valuable life lessons along the way, and it is best to go with what you know. Those are usually the choices that keep you the safest. Thus, once again, you choose the Snickers. But this video isn't about candy bars or psychology. It's about what I call molecular pattern momentum. There are certain patterned movements that the molecules of your brain prefer to follow. They follow them because of your prior experiences and your inclination towards self-preservation. Alive is better than dead. Envision your brain as a machine. However, there are no gears fastened to axles, levers pinned to pivot points, or springs with anchors. They are only machine-like patterns that your brain's molecules are more likely to follow. The patterns occur because the organizational state of your brain favors those pathways. They are the culmination of many experiences stockpiled throughout the years of your life. The patterns, like a spacecraft on its way to Mars, have momentum and trajectory. They will continue in motion and repeat themselves with the same endpoint unless you apply a force to alter their speed or trajectory. The patterns will perpetuate themselves as long as you go with the flow. They are not a rigid machine, but fluid machinery that varies because of other patterns that may be occurring in your brain at the same time. For example, you don't think about Snickers or Heath bars if there's a bear in the room. That molecular pattern overwhelms that of a candy bar selection. The repeating patterns explain how you end up at work in the morning, never really thinking about driving your car. You were listening to the radio and thinking about a report due that day. You weren't thinking about the gas pedal and the brake like you did when you first started driving. If you show a friend how to drive your car, you may not remember which steering column stalk is the turn signal and which is the wiper control. You use them all the time without a problem, but when you stop to think about it, you're confused. That's because many of the molecular patterns of your brain run in the background without your attention. It's possible many days can go by with your life on autopilot. The merry-go-round just keeps going with you on it. Occasionally, for example on your birthday or New Year's Eve, you may stop and reflect on what is going on in your life. At those times, you may decide to apply a force to one or more of your brain's molecular patterns. Changing the momentum or trajectory of a spacecraft on its way to Mars requires a force. It's applied by burning a rocket engine. The burn only makes a slight change, but that small change results in a new endpoint miles from the previous one. The molecular patterns in your brain have momentum and a trajectory too. Like a rocket burn, a deliberate desire, thought, and exertion of will are required to make a course correction. That action is initiated and caused by your mind. It is the non-physical part of you that intersects with the physical. Your mind's rocket burn causes gazillions of photons to exchange between the molecules in your brain. This, in turn, alters their collision dynamics so that a physical response is realized. This interrupts one or more of the molecular patterns in your brain and starts to form a new one. It may take one burn or many repeated burns to entrench a new pattern. A small trajectory change takes a small amount of effort. Larger change requires more. That is why big changes in your life are so hard to make. For example, the molecular pattern linked to smoking cigarettes has huge momentum that is very hard to overcome. Choosing the Heath bar requires relatively little effort. Creating things such as poems, songs, or paintings requires the most amount of mental effort. Those types of thoughts are not merely altering a molecular pattern's trajectory, but carving a new one. I once heard a woman joke that completing her novel was like giving birth to a Volkswagen. And even God had to rest after his mental effort in creating the universe. Your mind's ability to move photons between the molecules of your brain is amazing. Even more surprising is your ability to do it without knowing how to do it. You don't have to know one thing about quantum mechanics or wave function collapse for it to occur. Your mind is linked to and has been controlling your body's molecules since birth. Scientists say that the photons that are exchanged are random quantum events that occur all the time. I would agree that they happen all the time, but argue that they aren't random. Your mind causes them. And what about the photons that are continually exchanging when you're not deliberately willing it? Well, God handles those. He's the one that keeps your heart beating and your kidneys functioning. The important take-home message from this video is, a little effort today can cause miles of change at the end point. You may have something in your life that you think is impossible to overcome, but with a little mental effort each day, your trajectory will change. You can sit back and go with the flow of your brain's chemistry, or you can, with effort, change it. Keep thinking, and I look forward to your feedback. Please leave your comments and questions below, or contact me at my email address. Until the next video, remember, humility, thanks, and joy.